Hey, I'd like to take a moment to welcome everybody. It is November. This is our 17th episode of Old Ass Movie Reviews, and we have got a treat for our listeners, all three of them this month. This is Patrick Swayze, Kurt Russell month, or Hot Guy month, whatever way you want to look at it. And we are
super macho hot guy month.
Yeah, from the 80s, some great flicks. Finally get to see something that I can watch without having to take multiple breaks just to get through.
Why did we pick Patrick Swayze again?
I don't know.
There was a reason that we were both sitting there talking. We were like, we need a break from really bad movies, and some of the last few movies we reviewed were just like
because we were gonna do Roadhouse, and realized let's do a whole month of Patrick Swayze, and then we thought, Kurt Russell's kind of fucking cool. Let's do some Kurt Russell movies.
Let's do Kurt Russell too.
and I also realized with our pick of Kurt Russell this month is also becomes a kind of a John Carpenter month as well, because every Kurt Russell movie is a John Carpenter movie that we're doing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So
I think all the ones we picked are anyway, right? Yeah.
Yes, every one of them. So that's pretty cool. So Roadhouse will be for episode 17.
Roadhouse.
What a flick. What a flick.
Wow, it is very, very 80s.
It is very 80s.
It's very, very 80s.
This is a fun movie.
It is fun.
It's fun. It's silly. It is silly.
It's so outrageously bad, though. The villain is just the villain to be a villain.
Yeah, the villain is awesome in this. Yeah.
Do what?
The villain is great in this because it is comic book villain. It is over the top.
No town would have put up with that guy.
Exactly.
The way they show that town, I refuse to believe those people in that town would have put up with an outsider coming in and screwing with everybody.
He was shaking down all the businesses for a cut, and everybody was afraid of him. And all they had to do is band together and stop him. But it took one Patrick Swayze, I almost said Patrick Stewart, and it's like, wait, where's the card there? That would have been an interesting. I'd watch that.
What's that?
I would watch that if Patrick Stewart was as Dalton.
Oh my God! Yeah, he wouldn't even touch anybody. He'd just have Worf kick their ass.
Yeah. Engage.
Number one, take care of my legwork for me.
So it took one Patrick Swayze as Dalton the master bouncer to unite the town to finally get them to see what was going on and stand up for themselves.
And his hair.
Really?
Patrick Swayze and his hair.
Yeah, and it was nice. It was definitely the 80s, and I hope high-waisted jeans never come back.
They're uncomfortable. High-waisted jeans are always uncomfortable. Cover the belly button. Who needs them?
Yeah, when it started out, it's like this guy traveled. He went to New York to find Patrick Swayze, to find Dalton, this bouncer, or as they called him, the cooler. He was a cooler, the best in the business.
Right.
And it was like, what was there some sort of underground?
He was the second best in the business.
Second best to Wade Garrett, yes. Couldn't afford Wade Garrett, so. So what is it, like an underground jobs market for coolers?
I was trying to figure that out, and I'm just wondering if like the writer of this movie knew bouncers that knew all one bouncer. Like if there's like a bouncer world that bouncers are like, no, this is the best bouncer on the planet, or if I don't know.
It's hard to believe that's a thing.
What if the best bouncer on the planet was Russian? I mean, back in the 80s, you wouldn't have gone to Russia to go get the guy.
No.
Right? I mean, or would have he? What if the guy was Chinese? I mean, back in the 80s, you would have been like, I need the best bouncer on the planet. Well, he's Chinese. He's not going to understand anything you're saying. He's just not.
No, it was. I found that kind of ridiculous. That this guy
just that.
Oh, that's just the beginning, man.
It was so real, Scott.
I'm going to shit on this movie, and I love this movie. This movie deserves the criticism, but it's also such a fun movie that I can watch it over and over again.
It's a guy movie. It really is definitely a guy's 80s movie. It's like you said, it's got a lot of bad in it, but it's got a lot of good in it too.
I do like how he hit his nice Mercedes and then went and bought a beater because he knew they were going to tear up his car after the first night.
Yeah, that was good. Because I remember I was watching and I was like, why does he have a crappy car? I said, he's making $500 a day and he's driving that piece of crap car, and then he throws the keys to the guy and says, it's yours, keep it. And then they show him uncovering the Mercedes. It's like, oh, okay, that's funny. Because right there, you know what's going on. This is only like the second or third time I've ever seen this movie.
Yeah.
It was the second time I've seen it. Times. I forgot how unashamedly bad good it was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bad and good all together.
It's funny when he shows up at the Double Deuce?
The Double Deuce.
When he shows up there.
Still the biker bar.
Yeah. Everybody knows him. The waitress, all of them, I know you. It's like.
Yeah, they've all heard of him.
They've all heard of Dalton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm at a loss. I don't know the club culture, or I guess there is an underground market or world where everybody knows every bouncer. It's weird, dude.
I'm out of that loop.
Wow. How about the razor boot?
Should have known him by his hairdo.
Yes. How about the razor boots?
Oh, yeah. Right boot. Right boot. Right foot. I like the one big guy, the chunky guy that was it turned out to be a really good bouncer.
Yeah.
With Dalton. Dalton was training. He's the one who looks at and says, right boot, and the guy's like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
He turns out to be a pretty good bouncer. I was like, because usually back in the old days, oh God. Anyway,
way back when.
They would have made the chubby guy comic relief.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that in this movie.
No.
In this movie, he was actually a pretty good bouncer. He knew what he was doing. He took direction well, and he turned out to be a good bouncer. And they didn't make fun of anything. And I thought, well, that's unusual, especially for the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. We have an appearance by Bigfoot, the monster truck, just because.
Yeah, well, it was big at the time.
Yeah, it was big at the time. So it was parked out in the parking lot. It just everywhere. It's like, did Ford...
Nobody noticed.
Ford must have sponsored the movie. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. What's funny is the fact that the bad guys are sitting in the Bigfoot at one point.
Right.
Watching the bar that Dalton's in walk out with the doctor chick, and neither the doctor nor Dalton really notice Bigfoot sitting there with the two bad guys in it.
Yeah.
Instead of him walking over there and just dragging him out of the truck and beating the piss out of him right then.
Right.
Or just taking a knife and flattening in one of those really uber expensive tires.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, did you not see the big four-wheel
No,
drive?
they didn't. They didn't see the gigantic four-wheel drive truck. Nope.
It hurts.
Yeah.
The loopholes in this movie's logic.
Well, it didn't matter. It was just to get the story across. You got to see Patrick Swayze. Some great bar fights. That was one of the things that I have. The choreography was good. The fight
scenes were great.
Yeah. It was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just going to say this is not a fight scene, but it is one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. Is when the hostess that first talks to him, the dark-haired girl.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her in other stuff, and I just cannot place her where I've seen her before. But she goes over to Dalton's house the first night he's there, and she's bringing him breakfast and stuff. And he just gets out of bed, and he's this butt's
Her
right there.
face.
His old Patrick Swayze butt with the sun shining on it, a little sparkle, and she's just standing there staring at his ass like, I want to eat that right now.
Yeah.
And then she turns her head like she's trying not to look at him, and he's putting on his pants, and he just looks over his shoulder at her. And I just wonder if Patrick Swayze did that like unscripted, like just to screw with the other actress, like just to see her reaction.
I don't know.
And they just filmed her reaction, because that looked like a real reaction. Like,
it definitely was a real reaction. Hello.
You know? But that was a good scene. I thought that was very funny, because he's just like, oh well, I'm Dalton, and this is my buttocks, the perfect buttocks. You could set compasses to it.
And that was the thing. Everybody loved him. He was like such a legend, and I don't buy it, but that's okay. You know, there's one great part about this. There's lots of great parts, but you had Sam Elliott in this fucking movie.
Oh, Sam Elliott! I forgot that he was in the movie.
Yeah, and while he doesn't have a lot of lines, this guy's presence and his acting ability is like, holy shit. I was so upset when Wade Garrett gets killed that you cared for him. He's such a good actor.
He walked in, and it just raised that movie from being a B- movie to a B movie.
Yeah.
Instantly. to maybe a B+ movie. But that's just what Sam Elliott does. I mean, he walks in and he starts talking his Sam Elliott way, and all of a sudden,
it's just
life is pretty good.
It's just fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does give my favorite quote in the line is when a man sticks a gun in your face, you have two choices: you can die, or you can kill the motherfucker.
Right. Really ain't got much of a choice.
No.
There really is your two choices. If you have the ability to kill that motherfucker, you better do it.
But speaking of quotes, there's another quote in here that I just laughed so hard when it was delivered that I don't understand why it was there. But he's fighting the guy with the douchebag with the little tight perm.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I fucked guys like you in prison.
Like,
what?
How did you admit that?
Okay. Great.
Guys with really nice hair?
What? That's okay. And that's when Patrick Stewart again.
Patrick Stewart just broke bad, grew his hair back.
Yeah. Patrick Swayze spins around and rips the guy's throat out with his claw.
Claw hand.
Yeah, the claw.
And what always is miraculous to me in these types of movies, where when the good guy finally fights back and finally winds up killing one of the villains, everybody looks at the good guy like, oh my goodness, you're evil, you just killed this guy. This guy just blew up somebody's house, tried to kill this old man that I'm renting from, tried to rape you at one point, and just tried to kill me. How many fucking times am I supposed to turn that cheek?
Well, exactly. It's like everybody just kind of
got two cheeks.
they were upset with him when he finally defended himself. I mean, he was pushed.
Yeah, it's like you people have been turning your cheeks way too much here in this town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and before they blew up the house that he was staying at, or the guy's house that he was staying at, they had blown up Red's place.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much crap are you people going to take?
A lot,
honest
apparently.
to God, I don't think that guy could have come into that town, done what he did, and gotten away with it. And that was a small town. That was a tightly knit town. They could have taken that guy out within the first week he showed up trying to muscle people.
Yeah, and that's what
I think in real life, if that would have been a real movie or a real city, that's exactly what would have happened to that cat.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't part of the mob.
No.
He didn't have like a big mob behind him. He was just some rando punk.
Yeah.
You know?
Some developer. And whatever reason, they were all afraid of him.
He was a Scooby-Doo villain.
Yes.
He was without the rubber mask.
Here, I want to talk about the villain, and I can't think of his name.
He's a character actor. I don't think he ever played a good guy.
But they did something with him that I thought was kind of cool, and I didn't see it coming, and it made not much sense like the rest of the movie. But near the end, you have the showdown between Dalton and this villain, and they're in his house, and he has a trophy room. All of a sudden, he's some big game hunter, and he's got spears and all of this, and he says to Dalton, "I've been wanting to hunt you," or what? "I've been looking forward to this hunt." I'm like, really? Because you're about to get your ass kicked.
This is the first time you've mentioned it, number one.
Yeah, and it's like, wow. So all of a sudden he's some big game hunter, and now he's... Did they do that to up the stakes, to make it seem like he was more of a threat than he actually was? Because
he was not a threat.
No.
At all. Ever. At any time. At
Never.
no point was that man an actual threat. Had the town just done what they wound up doing at the end of the movie... At the beginning of the movie, there would have been no movie.
and that's what's great when the sheriff shows up. What happened? No, I didn't see anything. It was awesome. The town finally told.
But everybody's looking around.
Yeah. The one guy grabs the guns. Yeah. Fun movie.
If I was that chubby guy that the polar bear fell on,
God, he was just screaming.
There, I would have left town like right away. Like I'd have been like, I'm getting in my truck. I'm getting the hell out of here because I'm a dead man.
Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, that's
there were so many plot holes in this movie. You could drive a bus there. And was it in Patrick Swayze's all of his contracts back in the 80s to see like the breast of every woman that he was in a movie with? Or in most of his contracts, because it wasn't in Dirty Dancing, but it was in, and I don't think it was in Red Dawn.
Just this movie.
Just about every other movie that I can think of had, Patrick Swayze showed up. There was going to be a woman showing her breasts at some point. It's like, but it's right here, page 5, paragraph C.
It's the 80s.
Clause 5.
It's the 80s.
It's like, I guess the one girl that was doing the strip dance. Was a Playboy bunny, I think.
Oh, was she?
I think she must have been a Playboy bunny.
She disappeared. After all of that, she wasn't anywhere in the house.
No. Well, shit, she probably left.
But it was like, okay, we're done with you. You're gone. I was like, well, all right. Nothing.
Yeah, nobody said nothing, man. The place that he rented from the guy that Dalton rents from the old guy that owns the barn and everything that he's renting. That was $100 a month, dude. I would have loved to have rented a place like that for $100. I could have lived comfortably there for the rest of my life.
I'm going to tell you, it gets hot in Missouri in the summer. Yeah.
Huh?
No air conditioning in a barn in Missouri.
You open up those doors, you got a breeze. You got the breeze right off the lake there. You're fine.
All right. Yeah, $100 a month. It was a nice place.
Yeah, it was, hell yeah. You had a fireplace. It was all stone on one side.
Yeah.
Damn. I'd love to have freaking got something like that.
That was a fancy barn loft.
Heck yeah. And the guy's looking at it, $100 a month. Is that enough? Is that too much? He's like,
are you going to be able to handle that or whatever?
Yeah. Think I can do that. Here's my first night's wages. That's 5 months in advance. Have a nice day. Get out of my face, old man.
Oh,
and the old guy really left him alone to do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
everybody knew Dalton. Even
everybody
the people
knew
who
Dalton.
Were in the bar business.
Yeah.
Even the people who weren't in the bar business. I want to know what underground connections he had, because that was something. That
is the one takeaway I have from the movie that just stuck with me. Is like, why does everybody know him? Why does it? And here's something that's going to segue into one of our
beautiful hair.
Yeah, it's the hair.
Beautiful Patrick Swayze hair, and the tight jeans, and the shirt that was buttoned down to here.
Every time somebody saw him, you're Dalton? I thought you'd be taller.
Yeah.
This segues into Escape from New York. Pliskin?
Right.
I thought you were dead.
Yeah,
every time.
Dead.
So it's like,
I thought you'd be bigger.
Yeah, I thought you'd be bigger.
I like how the blind guy, the what's that guy's name?
Oh, he's
a singer.
Oh,
He's passed away now, and I can't think of his name now, but he was a great bluesman.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever they introduce him and the Patrick Swayze character knows the band sees him come in and they're like, holy crap, things are going to change now. But he goes up and gives the guy his towel and says something to him. The guy's like, oh, you're Dalton? He says, I thought you'd be bigger.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I thought that was funny. I was like, okay, that's
Jeff Healey.
That's something he must hear all the time.
Is it Jeff Healey?
Jeff Healey, thank you, yes. Jeff
Yeah.
Healey. Hell of a good guitar player, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that movie was a good vehicle for him to get a lot out. But it was funny with the band. Obviously, they traveled to different bars, so I could see how a band might have heard of somebody with a reputation.
How they would have known him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that band went. That bar went through multiple remodels real fast.
Yeah, no shit. They never really said how long he was there.
No.
But I just assumed that he was there for months and months.
It had to.
I would think.
It had to have, but it looked like it was days.
Yeah.
That was not
we're going to
clear.
paint today. Tomorrow we're going to change the stage.
We're taking the cage off.
Chicken coop wiring down. Got rid of the bikers all at one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how he just starts firing people.
Yeah, and that brings me to this horrible villain. So he had a nephew who was a bartender. And he got fired. So he's going to go through all that to just put his piece of shit nephew back in a job? Give me a freaking break.
He knew his nephew was a piece of shit.
Yes.
He's like, oh, it's my sister's only son. So what?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me a guy like that wouldn't want his nephew to be better at being a villain than what he was.
There it is.
And had the nephew had any brains, he would have stolen a little bit of money at a time. So when the Double Deuces was big and popular and rolling in money, nobody would have been noticing. He could have just kept taking that money off the top. Skim. He would have been making $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And nobody would have noticed. Well, he's taking $100 out of the fucking till or more, putting it in his pocket like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, cheap-ass villains. Cheap-ass villains.
Horrible villains.
Yeah.
Horrible stereotype villains.
Yeah. This is a cheesy movie.
This is a horribly cheesy movie that is so good.
I'll agree.
If you're a guy, you're going to love the movie. I mean, the fight scenes, the women that are just throwing themselves at Dalton, left and right, it seems like. The ex-prisoner who I think had a crush on Dalton that he winds up ripping his throat out. I think that guy had it for him. I think that guy found him attractive too.
Why else would you drop that line?
He just didn't know how to channel his emotions. I mean, instead of bringing Dalton flowers, he got into a fist fight with him.
That's how they did it in the jail.
I guess. I guess that's how they did it.
That's how they did it. So
you thought that flowers would have gone further, sir. Is all I'm saying.
So you give Roadhouse a recommendation?
You know what? Yeah, I like Roadhouse for so many reasons, and one of the reasons is Patrick Swayze. Let's face it, Patrick Swayze. I can't think of anybody at that time period that could have been in that movie and would have made me even want to see it. Honestly, I can't think of any actor.
It doesn't work with anybody else.
No, I can't really think of any. Who's the guy who does all the Mission Impossible movies now?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he would have been like 4 foot tall trying to be a bouncer.
Then it would have made sense. I thought you were big. You'd be bigger.
Yeah, that would have been funny because he's, Patrick. I mean, he's only about as tall as me. Yeah. Maybe shorter. Shit, that guy's probably shorter than me. He's probably a midget.
Yeah. Well, Patrick Swayze's not a big dude anyway.
Well, no, he wasn't. No. I don't think he really was. But I think he's taller than what's his name?
He's taller than Tom. Everybody's taller than Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah. Tom Cruise wears platforms, stands on boxes. It's like, dude, just give it up. Just be Tom Cruise. You don't have to do that. Just get off the soapbox, Tom. We'll adjust the camera angle down for you. Don't worry about it. Comes up to here on all the women.
Yeah. He's right there with Warwick Davis.
But I can't think of any actor at the time. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly thought the lady who played the doctor was the same woman who played was his wife in real life, but it's not.
No.
I think she is in. I think his real wife is in Steel Dawn, which we will be doing later on this month. I think so. And that was his wife. That on Netflix, for anyone who's listening, there is a series called The Movies That Made Us. And there's a little documentary about Dirty Dancing, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But it interviews not Tom Cruise. God.
See?
Patrick Swayze's wife. Now you got me thinking about Tom Cruise. I don't think he could do it. But it has Patrick Swayze's wife in there talking about him a little bit, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not her. That's not the same.
That's
lady.
A great documentary, and we'll get to that here.
Yeah. But that's just good series. It's just a good series for that. I think there's like 4 or 5 movies in there. But this movie, like I said, normally Scott and I will do movies that we can get for free because we're cheap. Okay. Roadhouse was, I think I rented it for just a couple of bucks on Amazon Prime. You can buy a used DVD or get a brand new DVD or Blu-ray, whatever you want to buy now for really cheap. If you like B movies, if you like tough guy movies from the 80s, this is a good movie. It's got good fight scenes in it. It's got pretty girls in it, and it's got a hell of a soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's got everything that you'd possibly want. It's got a car blowing up in midair for no apparent reason.
There's explosions. There's fights. There's throats being ripped out. There's spear hunting. There's polar bears. There
is a polar bear in this movie for no apparent reason at all.
Yeah, they thought this was Lost before Lost came out. There's a polar bear.
Oh my goodness. But anyway.
Yeah, I will second that. I give this movie a wholehearted go watch this damn thing. It is a guy flick. It is fun.
It's definitely a guy flick.
It's senseless. It's enjoyable. You don't feel like you wasted any time. You have a good time.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it. That brings us to the end of this episode. So we will be going into our next episode, which is going to be Patrick Swayze again. This time, the Old Ass Movie Review crew takes it a different direction. We are going to watch Dirty Dancing. Make sure you tune in.